Welcome, everybody. My name is Mark Schnesk. I'm Professional Services Manager at Seiler Design Solutions. We provide our Autodesk support and training, as well as support and workflows to assist you with your civil infrastructure and or building projects. And today I'll be presenting a quick session on some of the new drainage design tools within Civil 3D powered by InfoDrainage. We'll also talk about some of the water and hydraulic analyses tools that exist within Civil 3D, but mainly focusing on some of the new tools that became available as beta products back in 2024 and 2025, and now are fully incorporated in the latest version of Civil 3D 2026. So just a little background here. Let's go to the next slide. So our purpose is to have an overview, provide an overview of new Civil 3D drainage objects and analysis, understanding how to model a system within Civil 3D to use these new tools. Why would we use them instead of some of our traditional hydraulic methods? And also give a basic brief introduction to Autodesk InfoDrainage, the standalone comprehensive stormwater and sanitary network analysis tool. First of all, we have a lot of tools available to us in Civil 3D. We still have our Hydroflow hydrographs, our Hydroflow Express, and our Hydroflow storm sewers. Those are still part of Civil 3D. I don't see those going anywhere anytime soon. Hydroflow hydrographs has been a stalwart tool in designing ponds and just basic network flow analyses for storage and drainage design for designing underground storage or pools. But we also had a large contingent of users that I know in previous jobs that I've been in. We have used storm and sanitary analysis, which was the standalone product that came installed as part of Civil 3D up until 2024. So standalone software installed as part of Civil 3D integrates stormwater and wastewater analysis and planning design. It was very open-ended and often overwhelming to learn. I knew a lot of our customer partners who don't know it or have never used it because it is a beast to learn and use. It was very comprehensive though. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, to move along, it is an older program. It has an older model SWIM SWMM engine in it, had several different hydraulic methods that could be used. The last version available is 2024. In fact, starting in Civil 3D 2025 was the last version, I believe, that had an actual button that said, hey, analyze my drainage network or my pipe network in SSA. That's no longer available in Civil 3D 2023. I'll show you some changes between them too. So this product is kind of end of life. It's still available. You can still go to your Autodesk account under Manage and look under the product updates, and you can search for Storm and Sanitary Analysis 2024. It will still work with versions of Civil 3D. You just have to go through and export your pipe network out as a STM for storm sewers analysis, then open up SSA independently and import that storm. You just won't get some of the tools that we had previously that automatically added your CAD background image and brought your catchments in and things like that. So there's a little more handwork if you do it that way. Instead, Autodesk purchased InnoVise a few years ago, and they have several large products, both in water network, pressure network analyses, and hydraulic and flood analysis design tools. And they've taken some of these basic tool features and brought them right into Civil 3D. So it's installed as default as part of Civil 3D 2026 now. It contains new drainage objects they can use in lieu, or not in lieu of, but in addition to your regular pipe network parts. So you still have your pipe catalogs, you still have your gravity sewer parts available to you. But now we have these additional objects that can be used for basic drainage analysis right in the program. So we have new drainage objects. Catchments have changed. So if you used catchments in the past with your pipe networks, there are new updates to that. We have new features that allow us to use some of these analyses tools. We have a Rainfall Manager built right into Civil 3D that includes basic IDF curves, SES type of time-based rainfall events, and we can take advantage of direct to the NOAA website. That was one I was going to bring up here. So we can go to the NOAA hydrometeorological design services, go to wherever we're looking at, and grab a rainfall data for an area. So the new tools can take advantage of these export charts directly from this program for anywhere that you go, which is kind of nice. We're able to analyze a drainage system on the fly inside of Civil 3D. Now, this wouldn't be for final design. It wouldn't be for an extensive flood or hydrologic analysis of my pipe networks. But for preliminary sizing, preliminary design, just kind of an idea how things are running, it's perfect for that. As a comprehensive reporting, you get a nice spreadsheet out of the different aspects of your networks. And it's integrated in with InfoDrainage. So it's using that power of the new InfoDrainage tools within the program to do so. Okay. The Rainfall Manager, we can create and manage different rainfall events. So distribution-based rainfall, there's our SCS or NOAA. IDF curve data, or known rainfall event. If I have historic rainfall event for a particular time and place, or that caused a particular unique storm, we can input that data in and do an analysis based on that. Supports SES distributions, and we can export these library for future use. So once I create my rainfall, it's going to be something I'm going to use over and over on a particular project or group of projects. I can export that library out and import it in drawing to drawing. Different drainage objects have been added now directly in Civil 3D 2026, including pond objects, great interactive ponds, create by object or surface, connect to pipe. So if you're doing your typical pond, and in the past I've done pond design by contours or by surface or by using grading objects. There's still the state storage tool that's built into Civil 3D, but now we can take these items that we built in various different ways, maybe even using the grading optimization tool to create that pond surface. We can turn those into a drainage object pond that could be used for full analysis. We can connect it to our pipe network, so now our pipe network doesn't have to go to like a void structure or an outfall or a FES. I can directly hook it up to this pond object and make it part of that analysis feature. And I can export my finished pond as feature lines for grading. So if I decide to build a pond directly and size it the way I want it to work, I can then export that out as feature lines to build into my surface. There are also channel objects to create open flow channeling, including custom sections. And I can connect this to my pipe network. So I can do open flow channel to an inlet and bring it into a system, or use it for, gutter flow. Underground storage as well. So we can create basic underground storage objects, not any particular manufacturer, just a basic underground storage to treat as a pond, connect to our pipe network for analysis as well. Once we get our objects in there, we've connected to our network, provide our rainfall, then we can go ahead, create Civil 3D services and pipe networks, add our drainage objects, define our catchments, refine our catchments and flow paths, add rainfall events, and run the analysis. And you're going to get a tabular format on how your pipes look or how your manholes look. And then I can go back, make changes to those items, and rerun this. It doesn't have an automatic sizing tool, but it will let me know how my current system is operating. All right, so I'm going to do a quick demo. We'll walk through those different tools. First of all, I'm going to open up. I have a particular drawing open up. This is one I've used in the past for some of my classes, just to show you some of the changes. This is Civil 3D 2024-ish, 2023. Show you some of this. So in the past, we've had under our Analyze tool, here I have a surface underneath here. I got a surface for my pond. I have a generic pipe network in here consisting of some 12-inch pipes, and I have a few catchments coming into this area. First thing I want to notice when I look at my catchments in the old version of Civil 3D, go into my catchment properties, it's very basic. Obviously, I get some information about the style of that catchment, and I get some information of, which network structure. This is a catchment area of so many acres, 0.78 acres, and I have just a generic runoff coefficient that I can have to look up maybe in my tables or books to tie in for a rational method design. Also in the past, under the Analyze tool, we had that Edit Storm and Sanitary Analysis tool that no longer exists in the newer version of Civil 3D, but it's very basic. Now, they did have the Analyze Gravity Network. This has always been a part of Civil 3D since, I was going to say, like 2018, 2019, where I can do a very basic rational method design of my pipe network. Resize pipes and inverts. I can do an inlet analysis, go through and go through my network details, add in information for, what kind of inlets these are, if they're curb inlets or they're area inlets, give some basic information about the gutter slopes, the side slopes, the transverse slopes, the opening type, and run this through, and it'll give me a basic sizing of my pipes, and it still works very, very well. It's strictly rational method, and I just supply it with an IDF curve to run that through. In the new version of Civil 3D, so let's go to 2026. So 2026, things have changed a little bit. This is that same drawing. If I look at my catchments now, and I go to my catchment properties, you can see I have a brand new dialog for catchments. Includes information on the type, default style, different properties. So now my catchment properties have been a little bit more. I can draw flow paths independently. So before, I can convert a flow path from a type of concentration lines. I can redraw those in here from object or draw them. Here I can change my runoff coefficients as well, my reference object, flow path target, and then I can tie it to a surface. So supply user-defined or TR55. So this has changed, but what has changed is this new runoff tab, right? So this tab is only used for drainage analysis. So now I could change the type of runoff method I want to use. I can use a SES or time area curve, an EPA swim, Santa Barbara urban hydrographs, or a modified rational method. So by changing my type of runoffs for each of these catchments, that will allow me to run different models so I can run through my rainflow and apply the appropriate. We can also have a multiplier for modified rational or rational choices on here. So we could set all of these up. So I hit apply, okay, and I can do the same thing for all of these catchment properties in there. I'm just going to change my runoff coefficient here, 0.8. We're going to still run this as a rational just for the demo. And go ahead. So I can create my catchments by area or by. So when I go ahead and make a new catchment, I make my catchment groups here. Catchments. Make my new catchment groups here. These are my catchment areas. It's very easy to come back through under the analysis tab. And go ahead and create an additional catchment. So I can create catchment from surface or object. So by object, meaning I can draw a closed polyline and turn that into a catchment area. Or if I do catchment by surface, I can just pick an outlet location, and it will go ahead and it will automatically find that sub-basin area that collects to that catch basin. Depends on what your grading is. Right. So once those are done, then I have my network tied to those. So each of these catchments is tied into that network. Now looking at the different drainage objects, if I come back to my Home tab, you can see now in Civil 3D 2026, and under the Create Design tab, I have 3 new objects along with the remainder of my Civil 3D objects. So ponds are probably the easiest. We can go ahead and create a pond. I'll create one down here just to kind of show you the basis. Right down here, I have just a plain polyline. So if I wanted to create a pond object, I just say create pond. I'm just going to give it a name, say pond 2. I can give a depth of it. We'll just make this a 5-foot deep pond. Give it a basic side slope. We'll start at the top elevation of 640. choose the layer that we want it on. We'll just leave it on the base layer for now. And then we can create a style for it, just like we do other styles, including our display, top, interior, contours, bottom, change the layer. So I can create styles for these new dialogues as well. When I click OK, I just go ahead and start. So I can just run through and copy my pond. When I'm all done, I'll hit close, and that creates my pond object. So if I look at this, it is now a new Civil 3D object pond. Gives me information about that pond, including area and total volume, including my freeboard. So I can choose a freeboard item to give a storage volume based upon that calculation. If I look at it in the model viewer, you can see that it is a 3D model. Once I make my basic pond, I can go through, and now when I select that pond, I have a new ribbon tab just for my pond objects. I can look at my pond properties. I can look under my storage curve and my depth curve. I can look at what inflows. Right now I have no pipes connected or no channels connected to it, nor do I have any outflow objects in there yet. Okay. Change my freeboard volume, whatever. Okay. I can also go ahead and quick edit pond. The quick edit pond lets me grab it and change the width. So if I wanted to change the width to slope, maybe I'll add just a 10-foot width. Okay, so that changes my slope. All right, if I wanted to add a contour, I can come down here and add a contour from that elevation. 636. And add a different contour. So I can go through it and add side slopes. If I want to bring this down lower, I can bring this down to a 634 and add additional contours. I can fillet my pond. So if I wanted to do a quick fillet, pond. If I wanted to fillet my pond, specify a radius, and I can add bends and curves to my pond. Of course, that's going to change the overall site. And I could build that in there. Add contours, delete contours. Feature lines from pond. Once my pond is designed, I go ahead and create feature lines out and then use that to create a surface in there. We can also just create ponds from different objects. So right here I have a surface. If I look at my model viewer, this is a surface. This is a pretty big pond for just these 3 little catch basins. It was part of a larger drainage system. I'm just using this as a demo. So I have a graded pond here. I can also say, hey, create pond from surface. Select that surface. Specify the top elevation of that pond. That is 658. And oops, no, 657.75. There we go with that one. There we go. Pick a point within the pond. We'll click, and then we get some pond options here. So top elevation, bottom depth. But we calculate the bottom depth from the bottom of it, and click OK. Once that's done, then it gets treated like any other pond. I can redefine from surface. I can go to my pond properties and get information about it. Now in my catch basin here, I have my network. My network's tied into a head wall. I'm going to delete that head wall right now. I'm going to choose my pipe network. I'm going to pull that away. I'm going to tie that into the pond object. So you know, just like I hit plus here, it's going to add that pond. That pond is now connected to this. So if I look at my pond and go to my pond properties, you can see on inflows that pipe is now connected to it. Coming in, tells me what elevation it is. Okay, so that's where that's changed there. So we have pond options. We also have underground storage, create underground storage. Pretty basic. Give it a name, give it a depth, getting a stop target, you know, a top elevation or bottom elevation, you know, 647. Give it a layer, and you're just going to draw any shape that you want. So, you know, typically it's going to be a rectangular shape. And close. And that's just a underground storage. You would treat it as a pond. Of course, it's going to give you information. Underground storage property is the same thing. The dimensions, the storage area versus volume, depth, the inflows and outflows are the same thing that you would do with a pond. Channel's the same way. Channel's a little bit differently. So channel, you need a feature line or an alignment and profile. So here I have a little, I have a feature line. I think that is just a 2D polyline. So if I convert that from a feature line, I'm just going to make a basic feature line out of it, and I'm going to assign an elevation. So if I look at that elevation, you can see that it is falling at quite a clip. I'm going to tie this into that 3D elevation there. So 640, 653. We'll just drop this back a little bit. Don't need something that's whole back. There we go. All right. So now that I have a feature line, this is just random. I'm not doing this as part of any design. Just to kind of show you the features. Channel, create channel. So now I can choose a feature line and then give it a station range, give it a standard. There's no chance, just give it a name, channel, hit OK, and create your channel object. Then you can come back and you can modify the channel properties, including the section. So I can tell the model, give it a baseline, and then I can provide a section for it. So right now I'm just looking at a standard trapezoid channel. I can go through and choose triangular, rectangular, or custom shape. So I can go ahead and start picking points to create the append button at the bottom here. So I start with one and then clicking the append point button. So I'll create that as I go. There's my append point. And I start typing in X and Y's plots. Well, if I choose just like a standard, let's say triangular, I give it a height, maybe 0.5 to 6-inch swale with the side slope at a 6:1 or something like that. And do that for both the left and the right side. And click OK. Now you're not going to see the channel on there. If I look at this channel and go to my object viewer, my model viewer, it will just kind of show up as a double line for the width of it, but you're not going to see much on it at all. All right, so let's go through. I'm going to delete these objects. So with these new objects in there, if I go back to my home tab, channel, underground storage, pond, and our analyze tool, we now have an analyze drainage system. So this is the analyze cloud drainage system. So first thing I'm going to do when I go to analyze system, I'll pick an item. And I'll hit enter. So if you notice, the pond has select drainage object structure, pipe, enter. Why is that? Oh, you know what? It is coming up. This is what happens when you run through this a few times. There we go. There we go. So I have this analyze. You get a brand new dialog box that comes up. I had it hidden. First, we're going to have to do is create a rainfall event. So I'm going to open up the Rainfall Manager. I have to choose the right rainfall library. So because I'm doing a rational method, I'm going to have to do an IDF curve. I can't do a rainfall. So the rainfall is going to be for a dynamic storm, one of those other methods. Go ahead and create. Now I can go ahead and start creating my terms, set return periods, go by intensity, and I can start adding columns and start typing in data normally. Or I can go ahead and import data, and that's what I've done here. I've gotten a NOAA intensity data type for an area, and I've exported this out as a NOAA CSV. And one of the things I can do here is say import NOAA CSV file. So I have one here on my desktop I'll use, and it'll go ahead and create mine. Now it's full of ridiculous durations, so I'll typically go through and delete anything beyond like a 48-hour. And then we're also going to delete some of these 1,000-year durations and stuff like that. Return periods. Let's get rid of the 1,000-year, the 500-year, the 200-year, the 50-year, and the 1 year. Maybe we'll just keep the 2, 10, 25, and 100. So then you see your IDF curve here, both depth and intensity. Give it a name, IDF1, demo, create. So that creates that model. Once I have a rainfall selected, I can choose which returns that I want to run. Do I want to run this on all returns? Or maybe I just want to do a 10-year storm or 25-year storm. Just do a 10-year storm and say run analysis. So when you run analysis now, it's going to use this rainfall IDF curve with my area. It goes out over the cloud. Doesn't take too long for a smaller network. Depends on your. It's not uploading a whole bunch of data, so it's fairly quick. Once it's done, you can see the progress of it. So I did one event, and then I get my results back. So you can see my total inflow volume, my max inflow. Shows me information about my catchments, shows me information about my connections and my structures. Okay, so everything I got here is okay. If I was to run a 100-year storm, let's go back and change. We'll go ahead and run the 100-year storm instead. We'll run that analysis. So you can see it's very easy to do. Just set yourself up, set your rainfall up, choose which methodology you want to run. Now, in this one, they're going to have some surcharge pipes. I don't think I have any floods coming out of this, but I think I forgot to set my catchments too. I think my catchment runoff coefficient is only 0.5. So probably not going to see a lot of, yeah, so everything here is fine. If I go back through, oops, delete and continue. If I come back here and change my runoff coefficients, runoff properties 0.8. That's because I had them 0.8, 0.9. Let me run those up a little bit. Okay. If I can't get some surcharging going. Properties 0.9. Or urban. I mean, it's all parking really. There's not a lot of grass on this. A couple islands. 9. Let's run it one last time. Analyze drainage system. Analysis again. We'll run one last time. But then you can see the analysis go. And again, it's not going to give you, it's not going to size your pipes for you or anything like that. It's basically just going to tell you whether or not your system works for the current condition or whether you need to do some redesign. So just preliminary analysis. Nope, we're good. All right, well, I must have already sized the pipes up once. So once you're done, you can export the data. You can choose a folder where you want it, and it's going to throw it on my desktop. I'll use an analysis, all columns, and export data. And all it does is create a spreadsheet for you. So if I open that up in Excel, you're going to see the analysis criteria I've used, and then the inputs that are used, and then the storm events, the outlot. So you're not going to get a super detailed report, but it's fairly comprehensive for everything that you need for just the preliminary results. All right, if you need more beyond preliminary results, and we don't have storm sanitary analysis anymore, we're going to talk a little bit about Autodesk InfoDrainage. So all that tool use was part of or powered by InfoDrainage. What is Autodesk InfoDrainage? So Autodesk InfoDrainage is a full design and analysis solution for stormwater and sanitary networks. It is the successor to storm sanitary analysis. It's linked with Civil 3D. Not really linked, but there is an import out. So just like you would for SSA, you would export your drawing to the project, open it up, process in it, and then return that data back to Civil 3D. Unlike SSA, it also lets you to model sustainable and green design features. So rain gardens, green roof design, a lot of these new types of treatments that were not available in SSA. Unlike SSA too, that treated ponds and other types of devices as single point objects, InfoDrainage takes the entire shape of it uses through true 3D design graphics to model the flow across the pond from one inlet to an outfall. So there's more detailed design in there. You also analyze 1D and 2D flow design. So the Stormwater World 1D is just pipe modeling. Storm Sanitary Analysis was strictly a pipe modeling program, where InfoDrainage also does the 2D. It does flood analysis, it shows you surface water modeling. Supports SWIM 5.x, rational method, modify rational, SCS, FEH, FSR, time of concentration, plus more types of modeling. It is unfortunately a separate subscription. It is not part of the AEC collection currently. I'm not sure if there is future for that to happen down the line. So right now it is a separate program as part of their Innovize purchase. Features: sustainable and traditional design. So the traditional sustainable for the SUDS, the sustainable design solutions. Analyze flows and flooding, cloud analysis, or standalone. Natural flow paths. You can do a deluge on the site and find where your low points are and where the water's flowing. Templated designs, clear visualization. The graphics are very phenomenal on this program. FHWA culvert analysis tools, Civil 3 integration, mistake validation for your model. You check the modeling before. In SSA, you'd run your model and you wouldn't see until the error report came up. This preloads any errors so you can fix them prior to modeling. Flexible reporting, and there's additional machine learning deluge tools in there. So there is a Civil 3D interoperability. You're able to transfer data from Civil 3D to InfoDrainage for design, then back again. And then I'll just show you that tool here a little bit. I got a few models. So back here in Civil 3D, if I wanted to take my model and export that out, when you install InfoDrainage, you get a new ribbon on your toolbar. And it has some online support, tutorial, part mapping manager. Basically, the two tools that you'd use the most would be the import and export. So if I wanted to export this out to InfoDrainage by pressing this button, oops, I have too many sessions open. You'd pick this button, you choose your network. There we go. I'll select a new file to output to. I'm just going to go here to my desktop and try demo 1. Save. Next, I want to do the stormwater network plus the surface that was created. Next, and then I map my tool. So concrete pipe is going to be 12-inch diameter pipe. Here's all my junction mapping. I would say finish, and it's going to go through and create that model. So back here in InfoDrainage, oops, that's another program. Back here in InfoDrainage, once I open it up, I would just go ahead and open that full design. Desktop, demo 1. So there's my design basically as it came through. And then I can come through and the tool, the program is very, it's not super intuitive right off the bat, but once you look at it, then it becomes, it really is a lot nicer than SSA. And I've run both for a while. Under the file, and of course, we can open recent, save as, preferences, regionalization. So you have different, basically UK, Britain, Europe, or Australia. General analysis, we can have some undos. We can do background, maintain results for analyses, reset, autosave. So different little quick preferences there. So the planning tool here is for selecting and doing measurements and turning snaps on and off, zooming extents. The import lets me import data out. So that export from Civil 3 brought the model over. If I wanted to see the CAD data in the background, I would just select a drawing. I think this one will allow me. Oh, nope. Let's select this one here, AutoCAD background. Say next. So it's going to go ahead and load that drawing. I could choose which layers I want to bring in. So now I brought my map background into it. I can add image data, GIS data. If I didn't bring the surface in, which I did, I can go ahead and bring surface data in from a variety of different places, from CAD, from a CSV, from a GIS data, XYZ, land XML. Okay. I can import pipe networks from land XML. So if I had Civil 3D or another product like Bentley or Trimble doing pipe networks out and export as land XML, I can bring those in for analyses. I can bring in different objects from different CAD drawings, so they'd have to be separated out. Maybe stormwater controls is one, outlines of ponds in a drawing, land use, soil types from GIS or from text. So these are just bringing in data from outside sources. There's a Rainfall Manager in here. So just like I did in Civil 3D, I create a NOAA or SES storm or user defined, or I can do a Rainfall Manager and create different curves. Like if I want a tabular, just like I did in Civil 3D, I can go ahead and bring in this NOAA table. There it is. And I can do the same thing there. I can get rid of, if I wanted to get rid of some of these, oops, minus, and I can get rid of some of these returns too that I don't want. I don't think I'm doing a 500. Maybe I do need to do 500-year storms these days. I don't know. Right? So you can minimize your curves down, give it a name, and then when you hit OK, it creates that. So then I have a rainfall that I can choose for dynamic, NOAA, SES, user-defined rainfall, or static. There's my IDF curve I just made with the duration. I can choose which duration model I want. Okay, so I can set that up for future analysis. I can also add pollutants in. There's a rainfall viewer if I did have a dynamic that would show me my hydrograph. There's a preliminary sizing tool. So what the preliminary sizing tool does is basically I'm going to make a flow path, and I'm going to say add, and I'm going to go flow path from this manhole to that structure there. And then I can, if I'm done, I can show my profile. It shows me a profile of my current pipes. And then I could do a preliminary sizing on these pipes just directly. Right click and say run a flow path. Network design wizard. There's my current flow path. Choose my storm. Choose my return. Maybe I want to size this for a 10-year return off my IDF curve using the rational method. I can load in a pipe sizing. So I have a pipe sizing library that I'm going to open up that has just standard pipe sizes. My maximum size, I can say, by the way, for this one, make my maximum size a 30-inch pipe. So it will go through and size pipes up and down as it needs to with a maximum of 30. I'm going to lock slopes and invert elevations because I'm on the right slope that I need. I'm going to minimize pipe size diameter, and I'm not going to allow manhole resizing. Say next, and then it tells me, okay, just based on that flow, I have to modify. So I have all 12-inch pipe now. Now it's saying, hey, no, you need 18 and 324s. But I'm going to have some cover issues, and I need to address those maybe with some grading options. If I hit finish, then it's done. Then I can go ahead and look at the profile again, and you can see the pipes have now been resized based upon that initial growth. So I can use this tool, and I don't have to do it using the rational. I could use, if I had an SES tool or something, I can resize these runs using that dynamic tool. When I'm all done, let me go to another drawing here. When I'm all done, then I can run a full analysis. So back here after my preliminary sizing, I can add treatments like here I've added a pond stormwater control. This is a pond that matched the pond that I had over in Civil 3D using a simple dimension stage storage design by depth. Um, I can add green roofs, hydrology, urban residential development inflows, different junctions I can get, sealed manholes, standard manholes. Stormwater controls include things like storm chambers, dry swale, dry well, infiltration trench, porous paving. So you can see that standard versus the bioretention standard versus sustainable design. Add land use and soil types as needed. And then I can make my connections. Connections can be different types of conveyances, channels, lag flow, arch culverts, elliptical pipe, bypasses, curved pipes. I can do flow trains from model to model to model, and then change my flow paths here. You can edit things tabularly too. So all my junctions are available. I can go through and make changes and editing in the table format once my design is in. Analyses tools, simple validation, whether your site is okay or not. I can also run a 1 and 2D analysis, and that is going to, I'm not going to run it because it takes a few minutes here, but if I look at my results, you can see I've run it on a 100-year storm. You get your profile view in, and just like other programs, you can sit and you can play it, you can watch your flow happen, get your hydraulic energy grade line, hydraulic grade lines, and then when you export this back to Civil 3D, those lines will come back in your profiles as well. Reporting, you get your summary of your inflows, you can report on these, you can export takeoff data, flow summary. Of course, you get all your graphs and curves. If you had pollution, you have your stormwater controls. So different graphs you can do. When you do your final report, you can say comparison report. You choose the types of items that you want. Update your preview. Oops. Here's what I've done. Custom comparison report. Update preview. There we go. So you're going to get a nice PDF report depending on the type of object you want. So it's going to be pretty comprehensive. It's going to show you your graphs. So this is similar to what you would get out of SSA if you needed to send this to as part of your design to a regulatory agency for review. You can get your 30-page plus report out of this. For the different analyses and results, you can get additional exports out, plot to profile, so I can get all my profile views and all my plot views of all my different runs available here. This particular case, this is a local site that had storm chamber type of options here. So again, looking at the results for this in my profile, this was a multiple storm. So this used a 2, 5, 10, 25, and 50-year result. So it's pretty comprehensive. And there's, if you're more interested in this, there is available. So again, it is a separate subscription for this tool. There is a 30-day trial. Your full boat package. So just go to, I believe you should just be able to Google Autodesk InfoDrainage. So you can go ahead and get your free trial. You can purchase monthly packages of this, or you can get a year's subscription of it as well. There are online tutorials available. Of course, there is training available from Seiler to go through this on a complete end-to-end using a variety of different types. But that's what we have. There are other tools as well. Innovise also, well, Autodesk also purchased part of Innovise, the InfoWorks ICM. ICM is more for larger networks, flood management for entire communities or drainage districts, GIS integration with ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise Server. to be able to do sustainable, repeatable maintenance and validation of your site over time. So that is another option drainage-wise. All right, that's what I have for the. Are there any questions anybody would like to ask? I know it's very cursory overall. What I really wanted to point out was the new tools inside Civil 3D 2026. I'm not sure quite what's coming out with 2027. Civil 3D 2027 will be dropping in the next month or so. So once those come out, if there are any major changes between this webinar and then, I will make sure to put that on a blog. Does InfoDrainage work with multiple ponds? Yes, it does. A large sustain. So the question was asked, does the drainage system work with multiple ponds in one system? The answer is absolutely yes. In fact, the drainage system I had, you could tie multiple chains together. Absolutely. That's part of this chain routing. Where is it? Under my building, part of my flow train. Will InfoDrainage open SSA files? Not directly. I believe you may be able to import. You should be able to go to SSA. So if you're running SSA, you should be able to export this as a LAN XML file or GIS export, and then turn over and be able to import that directly. So back here in InfoDrainage, oops, I'm gonna close that one because those eyes are getting to me. You should be able to come back here and say import LAN XML, or from CAD or from GIS or from text. So there will be some methodologies. I don't think there's a storm sewer STM. That would be nice. Are there any extensions or CAD libraries from your site that will assist? We do not have any direct applications as of yet. It's really not. I mean, are there any extensions or CAD libraries from your site that assist or can be integrated in my AutoCAD into plain AutoCAD or Civil 3D? I don't think there's anything directly in plain AutoCAD. We don't have anything that we've written or put together. Not to say that we don't have some. We do have a few apps. Mostly they're related to existing site import into a drawing, or we have some. So we have a tool that integrates basically design and reference mapping to Autodesk Construction Cloud, but we don't have anything directly in AutoCAD now. Notice the report command says run comparison. Does the report function and InfoDrainage only run comparison? No, actually all scenarios. So in InfoDrainage, we're on a phase system. So right now I have only one phase in here. You can create multiple models. I can do a phase existing and a phase pre-development, a phase post-development, or I can have multiple iterations of a post-development. Maybe I have option 1, option 2, option 3, and I can run all the models, and I can do a comparison of all the models in there in a report. Does InfoDrainage have compatibility with importing export of Civil 3D to and from Hydroflow? Not directly. Again, on the exporting out, you can export out the plan to CAD. So in this case, I think I have one. Let me open that up. Civil 3D. I took my InfoDrainage of this. Of this. So this was a local, whatever, a Walgreens or something like that. Oops, control. Put that back to where it was. So here I just said export to CAD. Or export pipe networks to LAN XML, but that's it. So if I just export the plan to CAD, then once I exported it to CAD, then I could go ahead and open that up, save all CAD data or just visible layers. I'll just say all, and then I'm going to open up CAD and I'll have a drawing with pipe networks in it. Because I don't have to do this in CAD. I could start with a totally blank model and come down here and build and add I can add junctions and inflows. If I just wanted to start adding manholes, I could drag a manhole to a place, and then I can start connecting items together. Add connection pipe, to wherever, and then I can add it to this, or I can make this into a new inlet. Um, make that connection, and I can start drafting and drawing my pipe networks in this tool here. And then, I come up to this location here, and then I can add, whatever, start adding junctions and networks, and then export that to Civil 3D with my design preliminary in there. Is InfoDrainage still appropriate for highway drainage or ICM? It should be available. It should be good for highway drainage. I haven't tried it on that program. ICM is really kind of what I foresee. ICM is for large municipalities. The city of Chicago, the city of New York, whatever. It's for large network types of systems. I think for drainage design for project basis, I think InfoDrainage is the better tool. Can it handle pumping with the pipe network? It can actually, because it also has not only a storm phase ability, but you can also develop a sanitary system. So we can make a sanitary phase where you can add into a manhole. I can change the junction type. Let me go in here to select this manhole, and I can make this as part of my outlet. I can add a pump as part of my outlet type. Free discharge, depth flow, multiple pumps. So I can add a pump to my manhole, act like a wet well, and start putting, designing my pump curves in here as well. So yes, it does do pressure flow. How well does InfoDrainage handle culvert design and large catchment areas, 5+ areas? Can InfoDrainage determine a catchment basin from a surface data, or must be completed in Civil 3D prior? I think it will take. So you have. Let me turn on my surface here. There we go. So my surface model is in here. One of the things it does have is it does have this deluge tool where I supply a depth of water or whatever, and click OK. Oops, minimum area. We'll say 100 square feet. Right. And it's going to build a mesh. It's going to find where your low spots are. It's going to give you a great cover. So there's where all my low spots are. If I was looking for catchment information, I think so. I think if I say build inflow catchment area, and I just pick an area. Let's see. Right click. I don't know. Maybe that is a good question. It might be something I have to escape. Yeah, so it's not gonna build it from surface. I thought it would. Um, that's a good question, and I haven't really. I've always done them inside Civil 3D and exported them out. Preliminary sizing. Yeah, that's a good question, Ryan. I'll have to get back with you on that one. Since it can handle pumping, can it do 4 systems operating in a vacuum, pulling gas through piping? I doubt it. I think that's beyond its capability. I don't know if that's the case. Let me write that one down. In storm analysis, can analyze for sediment. It has a rainfall pollutant aspect of it, and it can handle like first flush, but I don't know how it handles sediment in that one. Let me follow that one up too, because I don't know if we could have done that in SSA either. Don't know how that handles sediment. Can this handle long open ditches? Yeah, sure it can. I don't see why it shouldn't be able to. I don't know how long is. I haven't tried to bring in a DOT type project into this before. Usually it's been area stuff. Yeah, I didn't think SSA handled that. I know it had a pollution aspect. I think they're very similar. I don't know if there is anything modeling. That's more like there's a lot of variables in sediment on sediment size and all that crap. Nearing a half a mile. I don't see why it couldn't. I'll tell you what, Steve, I will test that out too. Print screen, and I will get back to you on that one. So I'm copying all these response questions. All right. Mitch says we have instances where we put erosion control logs on slopes to keep flow in sheet flow. Can it model something like that? I'd imagine you could create a custom channel to do that. Because it does accept when you create your channels, you can do a custom cross section, and I bet you can model something out like that, or even make a surface out of that to handle that as a. I imagine it could, if I'm thinking about that right. Oh, you're using it to act as like a velocity trap type of thing to keep it down. I will find out about that. All right, well, that's all I have then. It's 1 p.m. Gosh, that went longer than I thought it was going to do. One more thing, if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and hit us up at our website, seiler-ds.com. We have our blog that's on there as well. We post news and information on anything Autodesk or Bluebeam, or sometimes I actually post in here myself. But it's a good place to keep up with news. You can also sign up for any of our alerts when new blog items come out by industry. So if you're in building or infrastructure, or you want information on all of our blogs, go ahead and subscribe. Again, it's seiler-ds.com/blog. And that's all I have. I will get back with everybody on these questions, and I thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any other information that comes out, go ahead and contact us via our website. We'll be happy to get back with you. With that, if nobody else has any questions, I will say adieu and thank you for joining.